Update 10.1 is out, bringing with it the holidays and festive spirit to the Outlands. There was also a dev stream today, so this video will focus on reviewing what was covered in the dev stream, as well as what are the greater implications of this update that we should be considering moving forward. So without any further ado, let's get right into this. So I'm actually going to spend the first half of this video talking about the greater implications of this update. If you only wish to watch my coverage of the dev stream, then I will have a timestamp linked below in the description for you to use. So let's just get right into this. Covering the greater meaning of this update, we can start off with something I talked about in the previous video. With this update came an overhaul to challenges, which now look great with their new screen and UI. As I mentioned in my video, What's the Future of Challenges? This means that more challenges are on the table. But with the release of this update, yet again, the challenge reward structure has been changed, with weapons and material crates no longer being the only reward, as additional rewards have been added to each challenge, making maybe more worth it, something to maybe encourage more players to look at this feature of the game. We can take one big takeaway from this minor change. This is the start of a larger overhaul of the challenge system as a whole. And that's actually a statement that was directly stated by Archie during the dev stream, that this is just the beginning. Moving on, we can look at the holiday side of this update, which is the main focus of the update. First thing to note is that our normal mid-season update and the holiday update were fused together. In older times, this was common, but with the October updates and November updates, it did leave the question of if we would get these as two separate updates, mid-season and December. But I wouldn't really hold my breath about being worried about this whole change, because we still have gotten a minimum of one update a month since October, and I really do think we can expect this trend to continue. Next note is the scale of this holiday update. Now, this could be due to it being baked into the mid-season. However, adding 2 new consumables and a ton of new cosmetics is a lot for a holiday update. And even for a mid-season with the large amount of tweaks, reworks, and bug fixes, this is a pretty damn large update. I don't think we can take this as meaning every holiday and every mid-season should be this big now, but it could mean that maybe the monthly updates might get a little bit larger. I don't really know, though. To be honest, that is pure speculation. The final statement to add to this regarding my thoughts on this update's greater meanings is that Vigor, at least how it's looking at the moment with an update every month, likely isn't planning on ending anytime soon. Well, we don't know this for certain. I doubt a game plan is really planning to fade away if they're dropping an update a month, which at minimum should tell us at least that the game is doing well. I mean, I don't know any game that's doing bad that's dropping monthly updates. So for anyone saying Vigor is dying, well, we don't know for certain because they don't release stats. At least update-wise, it seems to be the contrary. The game seems to be doing good. Alright, time to transition over to what was covered on the dev stream. So the Christmas dev stream is confirmed to be the last dev stream of this year, which is sad, but understandable seeing as we are rapidly approaching the end of the year. This dev stream started off with Pyreet walking around the office, and as she walked around, they talked to various devs. First, she talked to Philip, who stated he is working more on content for the next Chronicle or the next season, which is something to be excited about. But he also dropped some pretty big news for us Xbox players, that we will be getting a new Game Pass Ultimate Bundle tomorrow, which I can't wait to see. Hopefully it's holiday themed and hopefully it's worth it. So any of my Xbox Game Pass players, something to look forward to. Following this, Pyreet talked to the QA team and after them, went over to speak to Alex. While talking to Alex, she asked what his favorite part of 10.1 is, and he answered with the electronic warfare part of the update. We didn't talk about this much in our update video, so I'll cover what that entails here. The electronic warfare update made it so disruptor towers and portable jammers activated or placed by your teammates will no longer jam the signal detector for you or your teammates. Bringing back large amounts of use to jammers as a whole, this is not all, however, as the icon for being jammed, if you're being jammed by a friendly, will now appear to be blue. Friendly transmitters will also be still jammed by friendly jammers, but will show up on signals as blue. These are great improvements to signals and jammers and should really make the game much better because we're now going to be able to use jammers and transmitters a little bit more. I mean, seeing as they're going to be less of an annoyance than they currently are. This isn't the only thing this update that is coming that I neglected to mention in my update videos. As this update has a massive server-side overhaul, this entailed a reduction in bandwidth for shooting, aiming, and radiation. as well as frame rate optimization in the shelter during mortar strikes and in situations with impact particles caused by bullets. Overall, meaning in theory the game should be running better. I'm aware there are server issues. I've been experiencing them. You probably see them in the background footage, but it means the game is running better, not the servers. We're still going to have to wait a bit for the servers to get caught up. There were some other minor changes as well with this update, including the fact that they doubled down the doubled the reload speed of the crossbow, meaning that the annoying reload is now a decent bit faster, perhaps helping it maybe just a tiny bit more relevant. But I've got to say, unless some other major changes were done to it, it won't matter and will likely remain irrelevant. They tweaked mortars so they can now penetrate buildings. Flash nades have been edited to have a double vision effect. Weapon grips for various weapons were tweaked. Jammers no longer block marks on the compass. The L85A1 scope is now a SUSAT scope instead of the original scope, but we kind of knew since the L85's drop, it would only have one update with the weird scope it started with. The decoy has a new UI icon. Portable signals should no longer mark friendly transmitters, as well as many other minor changes that should improve the quality of life of the game. So as I said, this is a massive update, arguably on the scale of a full-blown seasonal update, simply because of just how many changes and how much tweaking occurred. But back to the dev stream. Walking further around the building, Pirate then asked the producer what plans we should be looking forward to in 2022, and he stated that how players get exposed to Vigor, or really how new players start off the game, is something that will be a big focus for the dev team, which, as someone who made the video Odds Are Against New Players, I'm stoked to hear. Hopefully we will finally give new players the experience they really deserve, and something that's more fair to them, much like the start that I got when I started in .8. After this dev stream, they went back to their standard structure, after talking to the producer, and with Johanny and Peter being Pirate's guests for this dev stream. A little bit later, Johanny was asked about some side issues that have been occurring since the update, which are the server-side issues, as I mentioned earlier, that we've been having a lot of lag issues, and Johanny's aware of it and is working on something with the team to try to get a fix out, but it should not be coming anytime soon, which is sad to hear. I do know a couple partners are working on a kind of do-it-yourself fix that can kind of help with the issues, and I will be keeping you all updated with how that goes. Following this, he addressed a series of bug fixes that are huge. The fix of double blood splatter, the bug where enemies would show double blood splatter, it's pretty clear why it's named that, was a huge source of people on Reddit crying foul play. It's a big thing why people waved a noob shield. It was a very simple bug where you shoot somebody and 2 blood sprays appear instead of 1. It should be fixed now, which is great, meaning I won't have to sit and look at annoying Reddit footage for hours a day like I do. But now that's fixed, good things. Alongside that, they also fixed the double bullet bug, which has been around since 1.1. I remember it being a thing back then, with the PM63 rack shooting 2 bullets every time you shot 1. It isn't actually shooting 2 bullets, it just looks like 2 bullets, and this is another thing that when people are like, but I shot him twice. Yeah, no, only one of those bullets were real. So that second bullet didn't exist. And now that that's fixed, now that we won't be seeing 2 bullets instead of 1, again, we should be seeing less annoying reports of people crying that they should have killed somebody. So, I'm excited for that. He also mentioned how they toned back the tracers of the guns, making them last shorter and not be as laser-like. If you're watching the background footage, I think it's somewhat notable. Very easy to catch with your eyes. Something visually that's changed. Makes the game look a little bit more like a Cold War game rather than like Star Wars, which, a lot of the really flashy guns kind of do look like. And I'm a fan of this change. I'm definitely a fan of this change. They also, at the end of the stream, kind of covered everything new with this update, as well as, the consumables, the cosmetics, all of it. But I've already covered that in an update video. If you haven't seen it, I'll have a link below. But that's about it. And that brings us to the end of this video. Update 10.1 is pretty damn huge, but for mid-season, it is likely the largest. I don't really know anything that can compare to it in size of my memory. Its additions are likely to be much appreciated by the community. I know they're appreciated by me, and I'm really excited to hear your guys' thoughts on this update. I know a lot of the partners, myself included, didn't really cover 90% of the stuff in this update, but I'm sure coverage about a lot of the changes will start to come out over the next couple days. But this has been Crystal Beast, and I hope you all enjoyed. I hope to see you all next time.